We do get quite a lot of members of the public who ring in and approach us. Whether they're inquiries that we can actually do something with is a different matter.
In this case, Simon was looking at the estate of John Wise, which had been referred to him by a cousin of the deceased. Although he didn't own his own home, he had over £300,000 in the bank.
John Wise had died without leaving a will and without family of his own, and the members of the family who were or knew about that didn't know enough about the others to get the process sorted, so it was something we could assist with.
John Wise had died from a heart attack in February 2008, at the age of 78. It was his cousin, Brian Sanders, who first contacted Fraser and Fraser. He knew he was potentially an heir, but had very little details about the rest of his family, so needed help tracking them down.
The last time I saw Johnny was at my wedding, 1968. He came with his father, Arnold. He was wearing a wonderful suit, shirt and tie, but sandals with no socks on. He was very eccentric. After that, I never saw him again.
John was a classic case of a working-class boy made good. Born to Jewish parents in the East End, John studied at the London School of Economics and was a brilliant academic with an all-consuming passion for his subject. Friend and former colleague, Professor Marcus Miller, remembers him well.
He was treated as something of a genius. I mean, at LSE, which was and is the top economics department in this country, when quite young, published with top statisticians, was taken by a Nobel Prize winner to California. So he was walking with these giants.
John Wise's mother was born in the East End of London, just after her family had settled there from Poland. At the age of 21, she married John's father, Arnold, a tailor's cutter, who had only been in the country for 5 years. Brian remembers his aunt and uncle.
Chalk and cheese. It must have been an arranged marriage. I don't think it could have been anything else. It wasn't a meeting of minds, I can tell you. He was just a nice man. He never learned to speak English properly, and he used to follow her about. Ginny was the genius.
Jenny got pregnant soon after they married in 1926, but their first son died an infant the day he was born. Their second boy, John, was born in 1930 and was the apple of his mother's eye.
I think that was the one thing that drove her. She had somebody there who could be somebody. She was right.
How had John turned out so differently from the rest of the family? His cousin Brian believes it was thanks to his mother.
I always remember her as being very kind, always very intelligent. She always had time for me. She didn't used to throw her intelligence about. But she saw something in Johnny, she encouraged it, she nurtured it, and she made sure that he actually became somebody. Otherwise, he'd have finished up a tailor with brains, and she wasn't going to have that.
Brian passed all the information he knew about the family to Simon at Fraser's and asked him to find John's next of kin.